Hello everyone, 2021, first meal cooking of the year. And this is Cooking with Ease, E''S. I'm Evelyn Weiss Francisco. And today for dinner we're going to be making stuffed shells with sausage and kale. Pretty simple. A lot of people traditionally just make the stuffed shells with the ricotta and the mozzarella. You have to say that, sounding Italian. And of course the Parmesan. Because if you say ricotta, you just sound way too American and it almost makes this cheese sound disgusting. But anyhow, they call for spicy sausage, so I'm not big on the big spicy stuff, but I get my sausage at ShopRite. It's homemade, well, store-made, it says store-made. This is the hot, this is the sweet, seasoned, very mildly seasoned, no fennel in this one. I'm not a fan of fennel, depending on what it's in, but I don't like it in my sausage. And it's all natural. If you read here, all natural pork Italian sausage. So they don't put any preservatives in it. They make it in store. So try to get something like that instead of like the pre-packaged brands, because they put preservatives in there so that they last longer in the store and on the shelf. So we're going to go with that, and we're not going to use the casings. We're going to take the meat out of it. I have 2 pans here, and it's going to brown it up for about 5 minutes. In the meantime, I have my water almost at a boil here, and if you see that blob in there, that's oil. Don't cook your pasta without putting oil in the water. Why? Because you're just going to have clumped up pasta stuck together, especially if it's gluten-free. I'm going to use the Barilla jumbo shells. Don't you hate when people try to sound like they have an accent of the country that the name is from? Like my married last name is Francisco, but I don't say Di Francesco. I should. Anyhow, we're going to cook those shells, but not fully cook them as if you're fully cooking pasta, because they're going to bake later on, right? So you don't, again, want a mush in your glass dish here. And there's the kale. I chose for the bagged kale, organic bagged kale. 2 reasons. 1, because it's easier. It's already cut up. I don't have to deal with those large stems. And 2, because that is all they had. So anyhow, yeah, back to the oil. Please, if you can use salt, kosher salt, and that'll help and also flavor it. But, you know, look, water and oil don't mix, but they keep the pasta separated. That's a Ziggy Marley song, water and oil don't mix. So we're going to get that to a boil, and in the meantime, I'm going to break up my sausage, and I'm going to use, I'll use 2 hot and 2 sweet, okay? Just for good measure, so that it's not too spicy for those who don't like it too spicy. And it looks like the spice that they use are red pepper flakes, so it's not going to be overkill. And obviously, anytime you see anything like very orangey colored or red colored, it's either something very hot and spicy, or likely there's paprika in there. Gives it that red flavor. Okay, and there's no reason that I am separating the sausages. The only reason I have 2 pans is because I don't have a single one that's really large. I have 2 medium-sized ones, so I'll have to work on that for the new year. And the other reason is if you put all of the sausage in one pan and you really jam up the pan, it's not going to cook. It's just going to be one big pan of grease, and it'll take longer to cook. So don't overcrowd your pans or your pots if you want to brown something and cook it. I'm going to turn the heat up on that. I never grab the dials with my fingers, especially after I've just had them in raw meat. So I usually just use my knuckles. One, I don't want to get the grease or the meat fall over my stove and my handles. And this is probably like really against OSHA or whatever laws, occupational safety hazard. Wearing a scarf while cooking, that is probably a major fire hazard. And I will probably take it off when I have a moment. But I like it, and I want it on right now. And I just don't have to make sure I don't lean it into my flame. Okay, so we got 2 pans here of sausage going, and then what's going to happen, we're just going to cook those for about 5 minutes as well. So, don't waste time when you're cooking. If you got 2 things happening, don't wait for the pasta to be done to start, your next step, because it'll just take twice as long. Use some good time management. You want to get a wooden spoon, and as that sausage is cooking, you're going to break it up into pieces, because later that's going to get mixed in with the different cheeses, which then goes inside the stuffed shells. I have a feeling I may run out of battery before all this comes together, but I'm getting you the idea here. There's really no special seasoning at this point. Sometimes I throw in some other greens, but you have the kale and the sausages are seasoned. So we don't need to really do that. And there's no cutting or chopping or preparing. So this is a really, really easy dish. And once it goes in the oven, you're all set to go. It's going to take about 1 hour and 20 minutes to bake. And I'm going to cheat. I am using jarred sauce because I just, really, who has the time to make their own sauce? And this low sodium I got. Silver palette. I like this one, tomato basil. So you get a little flavor in there as well at the end. And 0 sugar added. No sugar added. No salt added. Low sodium. So we're starting out healthy. Sodium is 130 milligrams, and that's low. So I don't know why my sausage is not cooking yet. I had the heat on. Okay, so always make sure your flame is on if you have a gas stove. Going to wash the hands. Okay. And now we hear it frying up. Okay, I prefer a wooden spoon, like a spatula. Reminds me of something I might have gotten hit with when I was a child. And believe me, not because I didn't deserve it. No, I didn't have an abusive parent. It was sort of just like a quick whack, a reminder, like, don't do that. And it worked. It wasn't often, believe me. Only it was something very bad. I know, now you call diapers, right? Yes, and that's how parents were taught, and that's how they did things. Most of the time, it was just, you're not going to watch television on a Friday night, and that was the punishment. And boy, was that enough. Like, who could live without television as like a 12-year-old on a Friday night? And the only other thing was to, like, go to the mall or go to a movie, I suppose, or go to the roller rink or roller skating. Okay, I hear my water boiling here. Yep, there it is. Don't hang your hair over it. It shouldn't even leak anyhow. So I'm going to put my jumbo shells in there. I should have had this open. And hopefully they're not broken in the box. Be gentle. Don't burn your shells. Don't crack them. But you'll dump those in there. I'm going to check out 5 minutes on the clock. You might as well make all of them. There is way too many. Let's see, I'm not going to make all of them. Because, what am I going to do with the others? It's not like you really want to just sit and, eat a pile of jumbo shell pasta. I suppose you could. Just an odd shape and texture for you. Okay, well, all that's going on. Now, don't forget, These have to get stirred too every once in a while. Even though you have the oil in there, you don't want to have them stick together because then you can't stuff them. That's the worst. Okay, so I have my 2 pastas going. My 2 sausages going. I'm trying to break them up because they're still in, rather big pieces. I'm doing that. 5 minutes on that. 5 minutes on the pasta. And in the meantime, we're still going to have to cook the kale briefly. But in the meantime, we can actually get our mixture going, our cheese mixture, right? And again, you don't want to overcook the sausage either because you just don't want to cook it through enough. Because that's going to get baked in there too, and then everything will be overcooked. The only thing worse than overcooked is undercooked. I don't even know if that made any sense. But at least if it's overcooked, you can't get sick from bacteria. Forget it. Don't ever undercook sausage, the pork especially. I don't know why that fear, that and chicken, has been instilled in me. No undercooked pork or chicken. Why is that? I think we know why. The chicken has its enemy, salmonella. That gangster. He'll kill you in a second. Or he'll make you really sick. I'm sure a lot of people know who salmonella is. It's terrible to have that name, wouldn't it? Salvatore Manila. Got bad reputation already. Making people sick. Okay? So we're still going here with the sausages. We're not at 5 minutes yet. Our pasta has not come to a full boil again, so I haven't really started counting the 5 minutes. But what I'm going to do, back to me. I'm actually having a good first of the year, pretty good hair day. I'm going to combine, the ricotta, the Parmigiano, the mozzarella. I have to ask my friend Sabrina, who's from Rome, the correct way to pronounce it. Like, do we over-exaggerate it when we say, or do we just leave that last vowel off? Is it Parmesan or is it Parmigiano? I don't know. Sabrina, help me out when you watch this. Make a comment. Thanks. Okay, so we're going to mix the cheeses. And then what we're going to do after we cook the kale, we're going to chop up the sausage and the kale. Chop. This is chop. That reminds me of a waiter we had once. Everything was hand signals. It wasn't Little Italy. We had the dish was sautéed and it had chopped spinach and a little bit of olive oil, and I forget. It was delicious. So that was pretty funny. Okay, so like I said, this is like a low effort cooking. Okay, yep, we're back. I don't know what happened, but anyhow, I was talking about the cheeses. They want low moisture whole milk because you don't want the moisture from the mozzarella dripping into your dish for this, because when it bakes, I'm pretending not to struggle to open this package, but I am a little bit because they never make anything easy, which I guess is good so that people don't randomly rip open packages in the supermarket. You got some cuckoo people doing that, but it also makes it very difficult for people that don't have strong hands to open things. Okay, I kind of do have strong hands. Well, you know what? I have to cut below the zip line now because that didn't work. Okay, anyhow, we put this cheese in, however you prefer to say it. And if you notice, again, no salt added. So that, don't forget to clean it out and recycle the plastic. Okay, and then the mozzarella cheese, however you want to say that, 8 ounces, low moisture, so that's the whole package, okay? You can get the skim milk version, a low-fat version, whatever suits your needs, your body, your lifestyle, your choices, your preferences. That's the same thing, isn't it? Choices and preferences. Okay. And then we are going to add the Parmigiano Reggiano. Uh-oh, I just got Parmesan. Well, anyhow, that's okay. So we're going to do, did I put too much of the mozzarella in? Oh, we're only supposed to put half a cup in. Okay, so bad. So at least I didn't mix it all up, so I know why, because we're going to save it for the topping. That's why. Silly me. Okay, so we don't want all that mozzarella cheese in there. Good thing it's just sitting on top. So we'll put half of it in. Good thing I caught that. And see, this is why I follow recipes, because I screw up sometimes and then you don't want a really horrible dish. Okay, so that's good. I'm glad it was easy. If it was mixed in, I'd be in a little bit of trouble. Okay, so that's about half the package. 4 ounces, good. Because I know that that's all going to go on top now. And then melted. Oh, so the Parmesan, we want to have a 1/4 cup. Okay, so we don't want the whole thing. 1/4 cup. So again, if you do your math, 1/4 of 8 ounces is 2 ounces. Yay! So let's just put a 1/4 of that in. We'll sort of judge. You don't want big clumps of Parmesan in there, so just break them up if you find them. Now Magnolia has come to observe because she's starting to smell cheeses and things. I come and observe when I smell cheeses and things too. Oh, okay. Now I have the hiccups. Okay, so all that's together. We're going to season it with salt and pepper, and then we're going to stuff this into the shell with about 2 tablespoons of the filling. Okay. Yeah. Then what? Okay. We're going to mix that all together with the sausage and the kale, and we're going to stuff it, and yay, it's going to look good and topped with sauce, and now we're going to come back and show you what it looks like. Yay! Cooking with ease. Okay, shells and the filling all together, and we line this with half of our sauce, and we're going to stuff away. We'll take our spoon and just grab a nice tablespoonful and just shove that goodness into the shell. Just pack them nice and full so we don't waste any of this filling. And then we're going to cover it with tin foil and finish it off with the sauce, and whatever cheese is left over you can put on top with the mozzarella and the a little bit of Parmesan. Bake it off about an hour, and there's your dinner. Have fun with it. Cooking with ease. Okay, last step before it goes into the oven. We're going to take the rest of our sauce. Oh, of course, we want to take a picture first. Let's see if we can do this. Yeah. Okay, so the last step, I'm going to pour the sauce on top. Try to do this nice and evenly. Yeah. Get that sauce out of there. Try to do it one-handed without splattering everything. Okay. And then we're going to add the rest of the cheese and sprinkle that on top. Yes. Wow. This is going to be yummy, yummy, yummy. And then we're going to top it with the Parmesan. And that's it. And a lot of cheese on top of that. Okay. definitely not a dish for the lactose intolerant. I'm sorry for those that are. I guess you could use some kind of substitute. Really don't know what that is, but okay. And that should do it. We'll put the Parmesan on. I can't do that with my hands when I'm holding the phone, but that's it. And, you know, sometimes you have a little extra shells and, you know, you don't want to eat all this pasta and you're like, what am I going to do with all this pasta? Sometimes if somebody's good, it gives them a little treat of pasta. Okay, Italian dog. And there it is, out of the oven. Cheese all melted. Last 15 minutes, you take the foil off the top, let it melt. And you have some nice stuffed shells here. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.